You're listening to Infoverity's Trust Us podcast, where you can gear up for your data management journey with bite-sized discussions on industry trends and thought leadership. On each episode, we'll feature industry experts to help you navigate your path to mastering your enterprise data. Today on the podcast, we'll be talking to Taylor Becht about where to begin your data-driven journey, what that journey looks like, how to get started, common use cases, and guiding principles along the way. Welcome, Taylor. So glad you could join us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jocelyn, and I'm really excited to be here. A little bit of background on myself. I am based out of Columbus, Ohio. I am one of our architects here at Infoverity. I work primarily in the product domain with a variety of our PIM and MDM solutions. I've done everything from architecture, high-level data strategy, down to the nitty-gritty configuration and actual development of parts of certain solutions. In my previous life, I did work for a large automotive manufacturer here in Ohio. And so I've got classical training in manufacturing, logistics, supply chain, things like that.
Well, it's great to have you here, Taylor. Excited to talk about how our listeners can get started on their journey. There's a lot to unpack in the topic of enterprise data management. I think maybe the place where we can start today is, what do you mean by enterprise data management? There can be a lot of definitions to what people mean by that. In my mind, it really boils down to one thing: making the most of the data you already have.
Yeah, and that's a great question, and really the first place to start. Enterprise data management is a fairly broad landscape, but in a nutshell, it refers at its core to business's ability to identify, integrate, master, and enrich information about customers, suppliers, products, locations, and other critical data for enterprise operations, both internally and externally.
All of the data.
All of the data, exactly.
Thanks for that explanation. I'm wondering if maybe given the broadness of the topic we're discussing here, can you talk about what a typical journey through the enterprise data management landscape looks like?
The journey that every company takes looks a little bit different, and it can start in a number of different places, really depending on business priority, company direction, previous investments, organizational structure, appetite for change, things like that. Typically, there is some business goal that necessitates diving into what data a company has and how they can leverage that data more efficiently to see tangible results. So, for instance, if a B2B company is in the process of shifting to selling direct to customers, it can cause them to evaluate what product data they have, the accuracy of that data, what tools are used to manage that data, and they might find that the first step in their journey is to address the people and processes with data governance. Or they might find that the right people and processes are already in place, but they're not understanding or using the right tool set to master, enrich, and syndicate that data. So likewise, many companies are undergoing ERP modernization efforts, and that requires an even broader look at the ecosystem of both data and the tools across the entire enterprise. But with all of that being said, the best place to start an enterprise data journey is where you can start to deliver the most immediate and meaningful business results. Overall, the journey is never done, but it's constantly evolving. So demonstrating that quick progress and incremental results really is the key.
That sounds great, Taylor, but based on what you're describing, this sounds like it could really be an effort that spans an entire career for one of our listeners. Can you help our listeners orient themselves in exactly where they start their journey?
Yeah, it really comes down to asking a few questions. Determining how to begin your enterprise data management journey is overwhelming. Like you said, it's kind of a career spanning effort. But not all progress on that journey needs to be lengthy or expensive. There's a lot of low cost, low effort solutions that you can implement today to get started.
Like what?
Well, the answer to that depends again on how listeners might answer some questions that they might be asking themselves right now as they begin their data-driven journey. Some of these questions that they might be asking are, how can I consolidate my customer and product data following a merger or an acquisition? How can I justify having ERP, PLM, and PIM tools? How can I begin to pivot my business to sell directly to customers in addition to other businesses? How can I demonstrate return on investments? How do I choose a data platform? How do I enable supplier onboarding? How do I increase the speed of product time to market? How do I enable adoption? How do I improve customer experience with personalized content? How can I deliver a strategic initiative that requires master data when the MDM platform I have in place is not working for me? And ultimately, it kind of comes down to how do I invest in data?
That sounds like a great starting point for considering which problem you want to solve. Can we talk a little bit more about the most common use cases for why one of our listeners might want to embark on an enterprise data management journey?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few catalysts for why most companies would embark on that EDM journey. Certainly, mergers and acquisitions, ERP modernization efforts, as we've mentioned previously, moving to SaaS-based platforms in seamless integration amongst other platforms to deliver a superior customer experience are all common occurrences that typically result in a company needing to consolidate data systems and processes. That can really happen in any industry, but we also do have some industry specific use cases that can also be the catalyst to these journeys. So, for instance, in the manufacturing industry, transitioning from selling to other companies to selling to an end user customer typically results in a desire to provide like an Amazon-esque experience on an e-commerce site. In the retail industry, customer data platforms and the need to personalize both products and experience is key to winning there. Also, in certain markets, there's a strong focus on sustainability and being able to trace the lineage of a product from its origin to its customer and giving that customer the confidence that what they're being provided is what they expect. And in the healthcare space, there's a continued need to provide a holistic picture of a patient to all of the patient's care providers, and for that patient to have a holistic picture of the care that they're receiving.
Well, you said it. It really is true that no matter what industry you might be in, there's a continued need for that thought leadership and to make the most out of the data you already have at your disposal. And in my opinion, it's really important for our listeners to understand that no matter what question they might be asking themselves, and no matter where they might want to start their journey, the most important thing is to focus on business goals. And I think that that could be either strategic priorities for the enterprise or just smaller goals for an individual team.
Mhm.
Progress really starts with defining what success looks like. And I think that that success really looks different at every step of the way. Outlining an actionable roadmap for how you want to achieve those incremental results seems to be the way that we can really make our visions actionable.
That's right, Jocelyn. And I can actually break that down into a few easy steps for our listeners as well. The objective, like you mentioned, is to deliver those tangible business values very quickly while also laying a solid foundation for scalability. And that first critical step there is focusing on business outcomes. Whenever you find yourself on the road to maximizing the value of your data, the most critical aspect of your approach is focus, aligning on specific, measurable business goals you need to achieve, and the order and priority of achieving those goals is really the key to making your overall journey a success. Another piece of this is finding the right size solution. Our team at Infoverity has a number of offerings that can help you along the way, whether it be determining how to invest in your enterprise data, implementing tools to realize that investment, or supporting tools and processes, or even assessing your business's needs and how they've changed over time. Depending on where you are in your journey, we can tailor a solution that gets you to that next level of where you want to be. Another piece of this is planning your transformation. If you're ready to plan your transformation, we can do everything from providing thought leadership to helping you select the right tools to achieve your business objectives, outlining a roadmap for what you want to achieve by when, and what returns on investments you want to be over time, and also putting in place data governance processes and tools to help you pinpoint specific pain points within your data. And as we continue moving through this, implement your transformation. If you are ready to begin changing your process and tools, we offer Flexiframe Quick Start implementations, which allow you to start showing an ROI to your key stakeholders and sponsors within 12 weeks. We can also help you rationalize a phased implementation approach so that you continue to deliver value incrementally over time. And finally, as you go through this process, you're going to mature that transformation. If you are already leveraging sophisticated tools to support your data management business processes, but you need specialized support to maintain your day-to-day operations, we can provide operational services as well. Also, if your requirements have changed over time, we can assess what has been implemented, compare it with your current needs, and offer solutions for you to continue to maximize that investment.
That's great insight, Taylor. And it seems like getting started is really the hardest part. To that end, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how Infoverity can help its listeners start their data-driven journeys. For any of your needs, Infoverity can offer a right-sized approach, leveraging decades of experience helping customers like you realize the value of your enterprise data, affect impactful and lasting change, and transform how you do business. This is done in a number of ways, but in particular, I want to call it our Flexiframe implementation methodology, which blends the clear-cut delivery of a waterfall approach with the nimbleness of an agile approach. What this means is that we can replace the business process while still affording users the ability to provide feedback along the way. And at the end of the project, we really end up with something that's sustainable, repeatable, and that supports long-lasting change. The other differentiator I have in mind is the technical solutions we offer for commonly heard business problems. We actually develop connectors and accelerators based on what we hear our clients need, such as the ability to configure products or provide catalogs of data to a large number of users. That brings us to the end of our topic for today. Taylor, I would like to thank you so much for your time. We are so happy for your insights into how to begin your data management journey.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Jocelyn.
For more than a decade, Infoverity has been established as an industry-leading consultancy specializing in solving enterprise data management business problems with best-in-class technical solutions. Our firm has consultants located around the globe with headquarters in Columbus, Ohio and Valencia, Spain. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you, please visit our website at infoverity.com. We've also included additional contact information in the show notes.